Okay, today we're doing a tubular bind off. This is a really neat edge you can use for a 1x1 rib. If you have a 2x2 rib, you'll have to do it slightly differently.
Okay, so first you'll want to cut your yarn and leave a very long tail, about 4 times the length of the area that you're going to bind off.
Okay, so I've cut a long tail and thread my yarn needle. Now I'm going to start. We have about 5 steps.
You can use this bind off flat or in the round. I'm working the round here, so I'm going to mark the first 2 stitches that I'll be binding off, and I will join with those 2 stitches at the end when I get back around.
So I will repeat, and then you can rewatch as needed. Okay, so we'll go into the first stitch. You'll notice it's a knit, as if to knit with our yarn needle, and we're going to pull our long tail through. Now we'll slide that first stitch off. Now we're going to skip the next stitch, which you'll notice is a purl. We're going to go into the second stitch on our left needle, and we're going to go in purlwise, as if to purl. We're going to pull the yarn through, but not tightly. Now we're going to go into the first stitch, the one we skipped on our left hand needle here, purlwise again, and pull our yarn all the way through. Now we'll slide that stitch off the needle.
Now we're going to move our yarn needle to the back of our work.
And we're going to insert our needle between the first 2 stitches that are on our left hand needle here and pull that yarn all the way through.
Now here's the last step before we repeat.
Is insert our needle into the second stitch, knitwise as if to knit, and pull that yarn all the way through. Now we are reset and we're ready to go on to repeat again from the beginning. So I'll repeat it again. Okay, first step, go into the first stitch here as if to knit. And then slide that stitch off the needle. Next, we're going to skip the first stitch on our needle and into the second one. We're going to go in purlwise with our yarn needle, making sure not to pull too tightly as we're going across the first stitch there. Now we're going to go into that first stitch we skipped, purlwise. And then we slide that stitch off the needle, moving our needle and yarn to the back. We're inserting our yarn needle between the first 2 stitches, pulling our yarn through. Then it's time to insert our needle knitwise into the second stitch through to the back. And this is the last step before we restart or repeat from the beginning.
Okay, so now I have a couple of inches bound off, and you can see here how nice this bind off is. The stitches just kind of fold over on themselves without creating a definite edge. Okay, I'm finishing up here in the round, and I have my last 4 stitches. So I am at step 1 here. I'm looking at a knit stitch, so I'm going in knitwise and pulling that through, slipping the stitch off. Skip the next stitch, go in purlwise to the following, pull that through, go in purlwise to the one I skipped, pull that through, and then slide that one off as well. Come from the back side between the 2 stitches, and then go in knitwise in the second stitch. And then the final step is to go into that furthest stitch there, the second one on my stitch marker, knitwise. And then I'm going to remove the stitch marker and slide these last 2 stitches off the needle and weave in my ends, and my tubular bind off there is joined in the round.